This is a Fox News alert. New tariffs are going into effect just after midnight, including a 104% duty on China. That's 20% over fentanyl trafficking, 34% in reciprocal tariffs from last week, and an additional 50% added on Monday after Beijing announced a 34% counter tariff on U.S. goods.
Yeah, right now it doesn't look like they're backing down. And the U.S. is also now enforcing reciprocal tariffs on imports from dozens of countries. The president says America is in the driver's seat, and the Japanese and South Korean officials are set to fly in to try to cut trade deals. By the way, I think Italy's coming in next week.
And the president says that the U.S. is taking in $2 billion a day from the highly tailored reciprocal tariff deals.
All right, senior White House correspondent, the highly tailored Peter Doocy joins us right now from the
Very
North Lawn.
bespoke.
Hello, Peter.
Good morning, and promise made, promise kept, right? President Trump dared China to keep their reciprocal tariffs up, and they did. And now, as of midnight, the new tariff on China, the biggest in the world, is 104%.
Additional tariffs on Chinese goods are in place effective midnight tonight at 104%. Until they make a deal with us, that's what it's going to be. I think they'll make a deal at some point. And don't let some of these politicians go around saying, you know, because I'm telling you, these countries are calling us up, kissing my They are dying to make a deal. Please, please, sir, make a deal.
The president continues putting out the word that he and Xi of China have a good relationship, as the Chinese are still warning they'll fight this to the end.
He believes China has to make a deal with the United States. It was a mistake for China to retaliate. The president, when America is punched, he punches back harder.
Vulnerable Republican lawmakers are worrying this is putting them in a tough spot, to the point that for the first time in U.S. history, in a congressional hearing, there have been threats made to the U.S. trade rep.
Whose throat do I get to choke if this proves to be wrong?
Well, Senator, you can certainly always talk to me, but
are you at the tip of the spear?
Well, I'm at the tip of the spear, for certainly.
I'm just trying to answer a question that I have several people in North Carolina asking.
So the president, again, is the final decision maker on all of these things.
The mood here at the White House is more upbeat than what you just saw there on Capitol Hill. Staffers are happily carrying out the president's orders without much worry about the markets in the meantime. Back to you.
So, Peter, I saw the Secretary of Agriculture last night say, the deals are imminent. We see that from Bessent. Do you think that's going to be backed up by, or do you sense that's going to be backed up by the president today? I mean, we got a few queued up, ready to go. Vietnam, we know that Japan, we got one of the first to call was Cambodia. Yeah. South Korea came through. The EU has a plan on the table. Do you sense that the president will start saying something more positive about doing deals today?
It's possible, because it's been a week since Liberation Day, and so at some point they do want to show progress from these astronomical tariffs that have been put in place, but they are giving themselves some time. Scott Bessent said that they had April, May, and June to get some of these things done, and even just saying that giving that 2-month window, the markets liked to see that, and that is what drove the rally yesterday. And so it's possible today, but also very, very hard to predict.
So, Peter, for the most part, over the last 72 hours, there have been conflicting statements from the White House. Some people, like Peter Navarro, had said that the tariffs are going to be permanent. Other people, Scott Bessent, said we're going to make a deal, stuff like that, and then things start working around. The one exception to the rule is Elon Musk, the world's smartest guy, we've heard the president say. He said that the tariffs are a dumb idea, essentially. And yesterday he tweeted out that Peter Navarro was a moron and dumber than a bag of bricks. I know that comment on X was then circulated to members of the press by people on the president's staff. So it looks like people are doing some backstabbing.
Yeah, we were out and about yesterday, and I did have one of the Musk tweets dissing Navarro sent to me by a couple different people who work at the White House. And it's unclear if that is a bad sign for Navarro or if they just thought that it was funny. Because when Caroline Leavitt got asked about this, she said, boys will be boys, and we'll let this play out in public because we're so transparent. I saw, I believe it was in Axios this morning in their newsletter, they said in the first Trump administration there was a lot of backstabbing.
Right.
Now in this administration there's a lot of front stabbing.
Yeah.
Huh.
Exhibit
Not
A.
a lot, just the really, really sharp knives
or
with
spirited debate.
Musk
Yeah.
and Navarro.
That whole transparency thing, you could circle that word every day.
Yeah.
Thanks, Peter.
Yep.
Well, Ainsley, you and I have kind of been saying the same thing about a balanced view on this, and I think someone that our audience respects is Maria Bartiromo. She respects the president's agenda. She understands the markets. She understands the working class. She has some thoughts on Jesse Waters. I think our audience would love to hear. Let's watch it.
It takes about 3 years for a company to fire up their supply chain in America, move the supply chain from Mexico, from Vietnam, from China, whatever, into the United States. The midterm elections are next year. So if the Republicans lose next year and then the White House is lost, then the Republicans are no longer directing policy. So timing is of the essence. We actually need somebody with a spine of steel, a tough man, to actually get companies to recognize these are not just economic issues. These are national security issues. However, timing is tight, and he needs a deal. At this point, we need to hear some win from Japan, from South Korea, from the European Union. The stock market going down is not going to be helpful. It's going to be a big issue, a barrier for President Trump getting the agenda through.
I think this is why Donald Trump is doing all of this in the very beginning of the administration, so that we can see the benefits coming up in the next few months. Before the midterm elections, before his term is over. Because once his term is over, if another Republican doesn't win, this all goes away.
Right, but her point is that if this doesn't work out well, the Republicans are going to lose in the midterms. Somebody who said something similar yesterday was Dave Portnoy. He revealed 48 hours ago he has lost in the stock market route 20% of his entire vast wealth. And he's somebody who is completely behind President Trump. He hopes that the markets recover. And if they don't, he says there's going to be a giant blue wave and the Democrats are going to be swept into power in the House and the Senate.
There's just no way the markets aren't going to recover. They already showed you when there was rumors of a deal from our show the other day, it shot up. And then we heard that China was going to make a call. It shot up, and then at the last minute, we lost about 300 points. So,
and then when Peter Navarro said there won't be any deals, it went down.
Right, and that's the problem. He's speaking for the White House, and many people don't think he's speaking for the White House. He should be saying that.
Can I just say that I think, is it next week when taxes are due?
The 15th.
It's the 15th. I think that's next week.
But everyone's left the IRS, so it doesn't matter.
Right, exactly. I think Congress could help the president if they really got a deal done when it comes to tax reform. The big, beautiful bill is on the top of everybody's mind.
Yeah.
If you want to impact the markets, if you want to impact how the American people look at, they're getting ready to pay their taxes, it's going to hit them. Get that bill done. And it just seems like there's some back and forth with a few holdouts.
It's going to be a while. It's going to be about a couple of months, 3 months.
Right now, it looks like there are dozens of Republicans who are against it. And so it's not going to be until the middle of the summer until the tax bill, that big, beautiful bill,
but if
people
you
have a chance to vote on it.
You do that, it's turbo speed in the fall.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.